Morning, morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday morning's thought for the day. Well, I was away last week. Went to York with some friends, and that's why I wasn't around on Thursday. So I apologise for that. When we came back from York, my friends who live in North Wales said they'd like to go to IKEA and asked me to take them. Now, IKEA is one of those places, along with the Merry Hill Centre, that I try to avoid like the plague. But I was reminded by Mavorin that we did need some table napkins, and they do very nice ones at a reasonable price there. So I had a reason to go there. Now, I don't know whether you've ever been to IKEA, but to me, it's a bit like Hampton Court Maze on steroids, or at least I experience it in that way. You can't go straight to the area where the particular item you have in mind that you want to purchase. You have to go all the way around the store. So you go through the furniture, the bedding, the kitchen, the storage units, the soft furnishing, the lighting, etc., etc. You get the idea. And of course, the small, cheaper items like the napkins are the very last part. So on the way to the napkins, I found I'd purchased a new sofa, a double bed, 2 bookshelves, 2 dozen cocktail glasses, a corkscrew and a colander, none of which I needed. Now, of course, I'm exaggerating here, or perhaps to put it another way, I'm not telling the truth. But I did purchase more than what I'd set out to. I purchased a picture frame, some candles, and a throw. And it was like it was hot and crowded and everything, but everything looked so tempting in its idealised setting, because it's all idealised, isn't it? It's a little glimpse of what life could be like if only you purchased the things on display. And when I finally got to the payment area, I was exhausted. But also I had a feeling of being burdened with desires for things I had seen but hadn't purchased, but again didn't really need. Burdened with desires for the things that I was buying but didn't really need, because I only came for the napkins. And then you can ask the question, do I really need the napkins? You know, Tom talked last week about needing to lift our eyes to see what's around us, and I agree with him, but with the exception of going to IKEA, where I think it would be useful to buy a pair of blinkers and put them on when you go in there, so that you don't see everything that you have to pass. Now, my daughter keeps on at me to declutter, and she's right to. I've gathered so much around me over the years, much of which I don't need, and never really needed in the first place. And in my worst, or perhaps best moments, I felt burdened by all this stuff, and know I would feel better if I took notice and took action about my daughter's promptings. And I have made some efforts to do so, but clearly not enough yet. Things that I thought would free me up now burden me. Things that I thought would save me time now take up more time and more room. My daughter says she doesn't want to be left to clear all these things out when I'm no longer around, and it would be selfish of me to think that she had to do that. And walking around IKEA reminded me how distracted we become by possessions or the thought of obtaining them. And I suppose it's easy for me to say that, given that, you know, I have possessions, more than my fair share of possessions. And that, it reminded me, and that enforced walk and could be representative of our lives. takes us in all different directions on the way to what we really need. And when we arrive at what we really need, we are burdened with so much other stuff, weighed down by those things that we wanted but never really needed. And as the years have passed, I've had a growing realization that the thing that I really need is to come closer to God through Jesus. That's where I can unburden myself, where I can be my authentic self without striving to get more possessions that define me. The self I was meant to be without the material, psychological and emotional clutter that we inevitably collect in our lives. It's like walking through IKEA with armfuls or basketfuls or trolleyfuls of stuff that you didn't really want, and acknowledging that and going to put it all back, and then walking through the exit into the fresh air and feeling the freedom. Well, I'll speak to you on Thursday. Look after yourselves. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.